Hey, you, I was thinking about you. And you know what I was thinking? I was thinking it's time for you to soar. Have you ever had a situation or circumstance at work where you felt like what you saw at face value wasn't exactly face value, that maybe there are some office politics going on in the background? Maybe you handled it correctly, or maybe you did like I did early in my career. You fell for it and it didn't end up the way you wanted to. I'd love to introduce my guest for today. Her name is Karen Ashton Sterling, and she is going to help us with some tidbits, some trials and tribulations through her professional career to help us to navigate those sometimes political waters and help us to decide whether we should play nice or play smart. Karen, would you join us?
Are you? Thank you so very much for inviting me to speak with you today, and hopefully I can lend some little tidbits to help navigate through what we know can be a very challenging arena at times, and maybe some things they can take away from some of the things that I've learned and SOAR.
That sounds good. Well, talk to me about and tell the people who you are. Introduce yourself so we can get acquainted.
Sure. My name is Karen Ashton Sterling, and I have had a magnificent career, should I say. I've got a two-parter. So I started out in healthcare, so that is really part of who I am. Serving and giving and helping others is who I am and how I was raised in that type of atmosphere. So science has always been something very near and dear to my heart. So I started out as a respiratory therapist, and I had a very blessed career, over 20 years in that. And so I did make a pivot in that about since '04, I actually pivoted, took the aspects that I had learned and actually went into pharmaceutical sales. So I came out of healthcare in the clinical setting, and now I'm in the pharmaceutical sales. So I'm still within the healthcare field, but able to help patients on different sides and still being a patient advocate. So that's kind of how that got started.
I love that. Well, I'm glad you're here. You have a wealth of experience on both sides of the patient care perspective. And I'd love to hear. So, the title for today is Play Nice or Play Smart. And we're talking about playing nice or playing smart in the workplace. When you hear that phrase, kind of what does that mean to you? What do you think of? What comes to mind?
Thank you for that question. It really is, I believe it has to be a balance. I did not understand that when I was initially starting into the healthcare arena. So I did not understand. I thought everyone's here, we're all here for the patients. And I really didn't understand the business side as well as the dynamics within the hospital itself and the hierarchy. That being said, in the clinical setting, the hierarchy, physician, specialist, and then most oftentimes it was the nurse, and then what other ancillary or other healthcare subspecialties that were also involved in patient care. But you found out real quick who had the power.
So power dynamics were at play.
So they were definitely at play in the sense that, again, the physician had the ultimate say, and that was transferred to the nurse. Well, oftentimes people didn't play nice in the sandbox. And what I discovered was that people can be very territorial.
Okay.
Because it's their patient, but we're all here for the patient. And oftentimes we were kind of relegated to an afterthought. Like I worked for the nurse. That
Mm,
was my supervisor. No, we were an entire different specialty ourselves and had our own, supervisors and directors.
mhm,
So therefore, learning how to work together,
mhm.
oftentimes it wasn't as easy as some people may think. And so that lended itself to really understanding roles, responsibilities,
Right.
and then standing in your truth, playing nice to say, I got it from here. I'm not on your timetable, but I do understand and I'm prioritizing as I see fit as the healthcare provider on this side. And so there was an example of a struggle
Mhm.
that, let's say, both landed us both in front of HR.
Then there's that power
And then there's
struggles,
that. And then there's
depending
that,
on how you handle them.
depending on how you handle that. So I had to learn again, I don't think it's a choice between being nice and playing smart. You have to be able to balance and do both.
Mm,
So
I like that.
that landing in front of HR, we were actually, it was more of a communication.
Mhm.
It was more of we learned that we communicated in different styles. So
Oh, that's a whole different
that,
dynamic.
that's a whole different dynamic. This person thought that I was challenging her authority or her role.
Mhm.
And in a sense, I'm thinking that she is pushing me or telling me what to do and when to do it, and
Mm.
sometimes even how to do it.
So let's check in with the audience. Is there anybody out there that, whether it's healthcare, whether it's pharma, whether it's the steel workers industry, have you ever found a power dynamic at play, and maybe you didn't handle it so well? Can you admit it in the chat? Say it's me. It's me. I was the one early in my career, or up until last week. I've been handling it poorly because sometimes you're oblivious, you don't realize it. And I'm going to circle back to what you said about the communication, but how many of you were oblivious to
Mhm.
the power dynamic at first? And it sounded like you might have been oblivious, but even more so, you knew there was tension.
Right.
The underlying cause, or the underlying miscommunication, as you said, the
Mhm.
misinterpretation, how did it work out, or did it?
It did. And it's by listening to each other.
Mhm, mhm,
She expressed the certain circumstances that had happened or where we were in disagreement and
mhm,
how she viewed my response. And then the flip side, I was given equal time to tell her how I received that information
hmm,
and the unconscious biasness that was in the background,
mhm, mhm,
which fueled her which fueled the way she spoke to me. And she was unaware of that. And once I was able to express that to her and
mhm,
point that out to her, we were able then to come to a mutual understanding of, okay,
mhm.
I may not invite you to my backyard barbecue, and you may not invite me to your bar mitzvah, but we're going to have respect for each other and our professions and our positions within that profession, because the ultimate goal is to work for the betterment of the patient,
That part.
not it's not about us. And once we took that out of the way, we actually had a very, very good relationship moving forward.
I
And
like.
I have to say, she actually became one of my work friends.
You got to the bar mitzvah anyway.
I did. I got invited to the bar mitzvah, the bat mitzvah, and she actually did come to the cookout.
A cookout. So
Yeah.
so I love that. And I'm glad that you shared that because that's a win
Yeah.
when power dynamics are at play. And you have to understand that almost nothing that you encounter is at face value. There are layers and things that are under there. And communication is huge. It's the number one cause of divorce.
Absolutely.
Communication is huge. And when people say, I'm a great communicator, they usually mean I speak well and I know what I mean. But
Right.
communication is a two-way street. I'm
That's
responsible for what I say, but I'm also partially responsible to make sure that it got to you the way I delivered it.
absolutely.
I didn't
Absolutely.
get into the unconscious bias on the other person's side yet. That's another layer
That's another layer.
comes into play. But I'll just throw that tidbit out there that communication is a two-way street.
Yes.
And sometimes we don't want to have that conversation.
It can be hard. It can be difficult, especially when you talk about workplace
Mhm.
dynamics, because who are you talking to? Because if you're talking to your leader
Mhm.
or you have a disagreement with your leader's leader,
Mm.
so you have to understand the hierarchy as well, and then be able to play smart and
Mhm.
play nice to to get the point across, but what is the ultimate goal?
That
And and once you 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 take all of the, our egos out of the way, move it to the side.
ego,
What is all
emotional,
the
all of
all of
that.
that emotion? What are we trying to achieve? And
Mhm.
let's keep our eye on that. So that's something that I hope a little tidbit resonates with somebody.
Oh, that's good. So you've already dropped great gems. Was one is communication,
Absolutely.
understanding differences in communication styles, and uncovering unconscious bias. We all have them. If I could
We
say
do.
that from the mountaintop, we all have them. And unconscious means we don't realize that they're there, that they show, that they're in operation. And since we don't know they're there and we're not walking in the other person's shoes, we
Right.
also don't know how it feels to be on the other side of that unconscious bias.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have to pull myself in check sometimes
Mm-hmm.
and say, okay, why did you take what that person said, or why did you take what that person did? What's really going on? And sometimes it's that unsaid power dynamic that's at play.
So that is a struggle.
That is a struggle.
The
And we can
unsaid
talk
and
about that.
unseen to the naked eye,
Correct. But
because
it's
you can't
felt.
prove that if you want to tell, if you want to get some help,
Right.
it's not always provable. So
Right.
so talk to me about playing nice versus playing smart
Hmm.
when it's unseen,
Good. Well,
undetected to others.
Well, a couple of ways you can identify. So you may be feeling,
Mm-hmm.
but you can kind of identify the unsaid dynamics, power dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of the ways that I've been able to uncover is watch who gets the key assignments. If you're working in a group, there's always who's doing the talking all the time. Hand is up first time. They want to be recognized. They want to be seen in front of, the leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they're just talking. They're not really, but they want to be seen. They want to be heard. Who are the ones that are getting opportunities that lead them into promotions?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you may have a level playing field, and you are noticing that you're not necessarily being pinned for that particular assignment, which gives you greater visibility so that you can progress in your career.
Mm-hmm.
Who are I find listening and observing instead of talking will really show you a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they sitting in the placement of the room?
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, when people want to make a move in their career, a power move, are they sitting next to the leaders?
Mm-hmm.
Are they sitting up front, more up front?
Mm-hmm.
Are they the ones that go to the mic immediately to ask a question, whether it's super, a
Basic
great
and
question
obvious
or not?
or not. Mm-hmm.
And that, those are again just some of those things that I've observed. And I realize that when people are trying to make a shift in power dynamics, who are the influencers?
Yes.
The quiet influencers.
Mm-hmm.
So that person may say a couple of things and the leader says, "You're right. That's a great idea." They're always going to that person. That's a great idea. That was a great point. And you're thinking, I just said the same thing, but you didn't give me that same acknowledgement. So those are sometimes
that is tough. That is tough. You are making me relive, causing me to relive some really painful
yes.
times. And if I could be transparent, in the earlier days in my career, I was so adamant about, I just said that, it really caused
Yeah.
me to speak out. And I had to dial that back. I
Mhm.
had to understand that the obvious, speaking out about it, calling people on it, was not handled. I won't say perceived or handled in the
Mhm.
way that I thought. And so
Yeah.
I had to use emotional intelligence. I had to learn how to
That's it.
manage my emotions. I had to learn how to do, I like what you said, to observe, because
Yes.
what you can do
Mhm.
is mimic the behaviors that are getting the attention. And then you're not presenting and showing up authentically.
And that is a big part in the spaces that we move
Mm-hmm.
because you do want to be authentic. But here's the plain smart part.
Mm-hmm.
When that person is said exactly the same thing that you said, what I've learned to do is throw my hand back up and tack right on to what he said and let me expand upon that. So now I may have said that, that is something that I, even though I touched on that, let me expand upon what they just said. That way it makes a very smooth transition. You've pointed it out that I just said that. However, playing it smart is you're not trying to put them in their place. You put them in the place, but you didn't put them in the place to where it becomes uncomfortable for everyone. And yet again, now the attention is turned back to you,
Mm-hmm.
and you can continue on to elaborate or add on to the original point. I have found that to be very effective.
That's a great tidbit. Is adding your point of view and your perspective. I used to get so frustrated that I would, then shut down, either
Sure.
shut down or act out. And
Absolutely.
act out sounds like, I'm throwing a tantrum. And then you're treated like, are you really throwing a tantrum? It's not that serious.
Right.
And that would make you even more mad, because you
Yes.
can't tell me that it's
Oh,
not that serious.
I too.
And so it's important. So you said we want to be authentic,
Absolutely.
raising your hand and just adding on, and adding your perspective, adding your point, as well as understanding what the dynamics are, understanding who the key players are. A lot of times dynamics get a bad rap. a negative connotation.
Sure, sure.
But politics,
It's there.
it's there. And how would you say, I guess preemptively, how would you strategically suggest that someone navigate a political playing field?
Wow, that is a big one. So I think the most important thing is I'm gonna dial back just a little bit.
Mhm.
I think one of the most important things and the most helpful things is having a mentor or someone that is where you either want to go, and they may not even be in the same company or the same organization.
Yes.
And what you do is oftentimes that's the shoulder that you can lean on.
Sounding board. Yes.
That's the sounding board, so that you can say, okay, how am I going to navigate that political landscape? Who are the playmakers? Who are the ones that I need to get in front of? And they can help you because they've done it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. They have done it, they've experienced it, and they can also help you. And it's very interesting. I have a very quick story if we have time.
Yeah.
In my pharmaceutical role many years ago, there during, I guess it was 08, 09, presidential race, things were going on. Pharmaceuticals has always been a hot topic in politics.
Yes.
You know, the meeting of the CEOs, the CFOs, and everyone's trying to figure out, that I'm in an office, the desk people, the receptionists, oh, they're all giddy and excited, and they're like, aren't you excited because this person is running, who was opposite
Your choice.
my affiliation. And what I said was, you know what? It's going to be a very interesting time. They assumed because I was pharmaceutical, I was probably aligned with another affiliation.
Absolutely.
I knew inside I wanted to go, no, there's no way I'm happy about that person. However, read the room, realize that that's not the time or the place, and just say, it's a very interesting dynamic going on right now, and I can't wait for it to be over. And I just left it at that. Those are the kind of things 10 years earlier in the hospital. Oh, I would have let out.
You dove right in.
I would have let out. However, again, maturing, having some of those experiences, and having a mentor that was able to help me to navigate those landmines and say, don't get pulled into that.
Absolutely.
But let me help you with the dynamics that are going on within your organization to put you in front of certain people, whether they're of your same political affiliation or not. The most important thing is, again, keep the real thing, the main thing,
Yes.
and where do you want to go in your career, and learning that, it doesn't matter, that you can still show up, staying authentic, but really learning how to address those sticky issues that may come up in a very professional and polished way,
Yes.
and play nice and play smart
At the same time.
at the same time.
I love that. That's very strategic. And I would say always keep in your pocket what you just said. So I don't know if you caught that, but that third tidbit is keep the main thing the main thing.
That's right.
And even lead with that when you're answering questions, when you're signing up and volunteering, when you're having random conversations in the
Yes. Yeah.
cafeteria. Say, since we are looking to XYZ,
Yes.
the idea I had to adjust our direction or to add this, I think would have this kind of a benefit.
That's good.
You've already led with what they said is the main thing. You've already led
Yeah.
and aligned yourself with the corporate vision, the corporate
Yes.
focus, the group plan,
Mission.
the group project, the mission. You are aligned. And
Yeah.
so anything that you say is now your attempt at pushing that
Right.
goal forward, pushing
Right.
the mission forward. And it helps to disarm maybe a tense
Absolutely.
or hostile room. It,
Absolutely. And
and
they will
it
hear
helps.
you.
Go ahead, say that again.
I'm sorry. And they will hear you now because you've put that out there first and agreed with them. It's like saying, so in essence, what you're saying is the
Mm-hmm.
person now feels heard. So when you put that out there, their ears are now open because, oh, okay, they're accepting, where we are. And you're just, again, like I loved what you said about aligning yourself up and saying, okay, we're in alignment under the main thing.
Yes, this is
And
it.
you're still your authentic self. You don't have to shrink. Don't shrink.
It's interesting. Sometimes your silence, when it becomes elongated and prolonged,
Oh yeah.
you begin to shrink.
Yes.
And so, to those of you who might just say nothing, how many of you are out there? You're like 0 to 100. So you're like, I just say nothing because nothing I say is going to be nice. I hope you're hearing
Right.
what tips and tidbits are coming out. And I just want to encourage you that you've got great ideas, you've got great thoughts, you've got great things to say, and you can align. And even though the waters may be muddy or it may be tense,
Mhm.
I want you to pull back and strategically put together a plan for how do I get my great ideas out there without being
Absolutely.
offensive, divisive. And
Hmm.
sometimes conflict is good. Good conflict is good. But no, what you want to do is make sure you're heard.
Right.
Because the bottom line is you've got a great idea that can further advance the project or the company, the organization, the team, etc. And even if they don't end up going with what you said,
Right.
build that muscle that is confident
Hmm.
and willing to just get out there and say what it is that you have to say in a way that is going to be received and heard.
Absolutely. And I know as women it's hard to promote ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Men live in that energy.
They do. They
It's
do.
it's 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 a certain energy, and we are gaining much ground to be able to learn to promote ourselves,
Yes.
promote our ideas, and stand in this is this is my light, and this is what I have to offer, and this is what I have to say. And I don't be a shrinking violet. You don't have to be a shrinking violet. You don't have to be loud to be heard.
Oh, that's so good. You don't have to be loud to be heard.
Not at all.
But you need to be heard. So before I know we've got to go, but before we leave, let's talk about
Mhm.
people that I was people that may be oblivious to the politics and the need to be strategic.
Mhm.
Um, the weight of that, the challenge of that when they're not able to see it or navigate it correctly.
Mm. Mhm. That is extremely that's a great time to, I guess I liked what you said when you said set yourself up. I call it a roadmap. Roadmap. What do you want to achieve? What do you want to accomplish? What's the time frame that I want to get there?
Mm-hmm.
Again, in conjunction with a mentor who sees your blind spots. Feedback
Mm-hmm.
is always something I think we all should get.
Oh,
Feedback, because we can't see our blind spots. So that way so that being oblivious to certain things, that person, if there was ever two people in a conversation, but you have a third person that's an observer.
the observer. You know the sales rep uh,
I do.
activities.
They
Absolutely.
see, they see things that you're in the conversation, you're in the moment.
Yep.
When you ask for that feedback,
Mm-hmm.
that's the clue to say, oh, okay, I wasn't aware that that there was a shift in body language, or there was a look on the face, or there was I think that when you do that, you learn how to read the room. You learn how to identify power dynamics that are not being said. You've got to listen. Do more listening than talking.
That part. It's like
And
we're boxers in our
right,
dressing room, just kind of
right.
getting ready to come out.
You have on, you got your agenda. You got your agenda set, but you have to, you have to go back and forth. I am so guilty of that. But what I have now learned as I would say, I don't like to say weaknesses. I think there are things that we just need to be better at. And by being quiet and listening, I have uncovered, and I was told that by my mentor, Karen, you are spot on with, delivering whatever it is you need to deliver. You are great at making people want to talk with you, but they're saying some things, and because you're trying to get to your point, you got to put that pregnant pause in there and just listen.
Be comfortable in the
Be
silence.
comfortable in the silence. It's okay. It's okay.
Learn to read what's being said when no one's talking.
Oh, I'm gonna write that down. I'm going to put that on my list. I'm gonna write that down. Yes.
I love
Yeah.
it.
And this is I'm still in process. I'm still in progress. I'm learning and evolving through that. So I hope that I've been able to be my authentic self and tell you that this wasn't something that I was just like, oh, I got it. I know how to do this.
Not at all.
This has been an 18-year, if I'm honest, in this part of my career, an 18-year learning experience.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that you're open to learning. And I know that Maxwell says in order to grow, you need to be available to grow and change daily. And
There.
so that just so shows that you've got a growth mindset, that you're open to it.
Absolutely.
And I just want to recap a couple of your points for the viewers and the listeners. First, you said that the challenge with communication needed to be addressed.
Absolutely.
Have the conversation.
Mhm.
You said several times to have a mentor, somebody that you can ask, that you can have them help you identify and interpret the landscape.
Absolutely.
You also said being quiet and being an observer, seeing who's at play. And you also shared a beautiful way to not be stepped on or not heard when your idea didn't get the same validation, but to piggyback on and add your points without openly offending or criticizing someone that might have missed you or misheard you.
Right.
But getting yourself heard, you set a strategic roadmap, kind of a plan, identifying what do I need to do? And you said timeline. How long am I going to be here?
Right.
Not
Right.
shrinking, but growing,
Right.
and doing it in a way that is beneficial to me and the company. We also said aligning with the company's goals, aligning with the company's values,
Absolutely.
leading with that so that there is no way you're being misinterpreted as being obstinate.
That's right. That's right.
And you mentioned unconscious bias, and we didn't really dig into that. I think we'll have a whole show on that and maybe invite you back and do a panel
I'd love to do that.
discussion, because we all have them, and we don't realize that when we're on the other end of them, that we often react spontaneously.
Sure.
It's important for us to practice.
If you want to, even if you own your own business, but if you want to live in this corporate space, you absolutely have to learn how to navigate and mitigate the things that can happen if you don't handle it right.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely.
If you had a tip either for your younger self or somebody that's out there that might be struggling, that they're on the verge of maybe they want to quit. And I feel like, you know how they say people that the graveyard is full of dreams, hopes, and aspirations, things people didn't do, were too afraid to do. Well, I'm
Yes,
not saying that the listeners are dying, but a lot of times you can leave an organization that you really could have added value.
absolutely.
But when you saw the power dynamics at play, it shut you down and you quit,
Mm-hmm.
or it shut you down and you stayed, but you
Mm-hmm.
quit. You,
Right.
the quiet quit, where you show up to the meeting, but you're no longer participating, no
Engage.
longer sharing your genius and engaging.
Right.
If you could speak to somebody
Mm-hmm.
before they let those ideas die, before they let their authentic selves shrink, can you share just some words of wisdom?
That, oh, we need to have a couple more shows on that. I I think that I am a believer, and I always go into my meditation, my prayer, and I align, with the will of God for my life. And sometimes there are situations where it's time to move. There, there are situations. We don't understand it. We may not always understand it, but if you truly are aligned in, within the will of God, I believe that He will move you to an even better place. He will move you to something that is where you will be able to grow and you will be able to flourish. But while you're in that moment, I know I keep saying, look for someone that you can get their ear, that you can talk with, that you can kind of unload that stress and say, maybe there's something else within that organization that you didn't really think that you were going to give it a try, but it's not working over here in, project A. So maybe there's project B or project C that I'm better suited for. Maybe that culture is better for me. Why not put that out there? Why not say, you know what? I know I started over here, but I'm really think I'm more aligned with marketing. I know I started in sales, maybe marketing, maybe, customer or consumer
Mhm.
relations is better for me. Sometimes those may
Understanding
be
your
the other avenue.
strength. Oh, wow. Did you hear that? Understanding your strength and asking,
Asking. Mhm.
because companies don't want to have to train someone else.
It costs them thousands of dollars to train. And if you can make a good case for that, because you've got transferable skills,
Mhm.
and sometimes just getting out of that particular department, that environment, that culture, it's not for you. And hopefully you'll be able to make that transition and keep right on moving.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Was there anything else that you wanted to share with us?
Hmm. I just really want to thank you for bringing this topic up, really making me think. I had to kind of think about what I'm doing
Mm.
and making sure that I'm being true to what I'm telling you that I'm doing. And I was very happy to say, yep, mhm, you've done that. You're doing some of that now. You are navigating through a a little situations,
Mhm.
but it's good because of everything that I've learned. I think that if you can just have confidence in yourself
Mm.
and don't allow anybody, I mean anyone, to make you doubt what you have
Mm.
and who you are and the valuable things that you can give to that organization. Stand in that, don't shrink, making sure your light continues to shine. And if it's not there, you can transfer that somewhere else because baby, you are more than enough. That's all I got.
I love
That's
that.
all I
That
got.
is so good. That is so good. So obviously we'll have to have spin-off conversations and follow-up interviews because so many things just got brought to the surface. I'm looking forward to future conversations. Thank you, Karen, for being our guest.
You, ma'am. I
Uh,
appreciate you as always.
Absolutely. And to our viewers and our listeners, I just want to say, hey, you, I was thinking about you. And you know what I was thinking? I'm thinking it's time for you to soar. If it's you that's been struggling as you navigate these waters and they feel like they are stacked against you, I want you to know that what you have to offer is bigger than the force that's coming against you. And there's a way to navigate it. Either you leave or you stay. But if you stay, just like I tell my coaching clients, there is something in you and you've got to know whether it's better served somewhere else. But if it's best served right where you are, then be confident enough to stand your ground and say it in a way to make sure you get heard. Thank you, Karen, for being our guest and all of our nuggets. And to all of our listeners and viewers, I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. And if you think you have a friend that could benefit from this conversation, share the podcast with them. I look forward to soaring with you. Hey, you, it's time to soar.